All right, how's everybody doing? Welcome to episode 3 of Middle Age Marathon. Today we are doing a video on the New Balance FuelCell Rebel V4 after 100 kilometers. All right, so I'm just going to dip into Strava quickly here to double check the mileage that I have on this shoe. These New Balance FuelCell Rebel V4s actually have 116.1 kilometers on them, which included a 9.6 kilometer easy run this morning. And I haven't run a lot in these shoes recently because I don't really get along that well with them. And they're a very popular shoe. They're in a lot of top 5, top 10 lists for daily trainers, or even top 5, top 10 shoes of the year for 2024. So I'm going to tell you why I don't get along with them. And there's a big hint, it's not the shoe's fault. It's actually something to do with me. So before we get to that, let's just talk about the shoe itself. This is a daily trainer in New Balance's, I would say, race-oriented lineup with FuelCell foam. I think that's more of their race, I don't know what you'd call it, race foam blend. This is a 30 mil stack height with a 6.5 mil. What the hell was that? This is a 30 millimeter stack height with a 6.5 mil drop. It is a PIBA EVA blend. It's very, very squishy. The upper is made out of a material called Phantom Fit, which looks like an engineered mesh. It's very thin, very lightweight. It has a fully gusseted tongue, which is also thin but slightly padded. It's got a little bit of padding around the heel cup. You can see there's a bit of wear just on the back of the heel right here. How is this thing done over 100 kilometers? It's actually held up really well. I'm a bigger runner. I'm 240 pounds, so I tend to put a lot more energy into the shoes than somebody who's a lot lighter than me, and that's just physics. It is what it is. So shoes typically last around 200 to 250 kilometers for me. And these, I don't think are going to be any different. If you look at the outsole here, there's a little bit of wear right here, but otherwise, except for this exposed foam, it's actually in really good shape for having 240 pounds running on it for 116 kilometers. The upper looks amazing other than being a little bit dirty. The foam's got some creases in it, and the little crease here, there's like an indent in this different colored section of foam. It's actually discolored. I do run in the rain quite a bit here. We're in Vancouver in Canada. It rains all the time. It's raining right now. It rained on my run today. So that's to be expected. I will say this upper, horrendous in the rain. It's very lightweight, very breathable. So in the summer, excellent shoe. In the winter, your foot's going to get wet. I haven't had any major issues with this shoe. Heel lockdown's been good despite this little bit of wear here in the heel padding. That's kind of typical for me. I generally put KT tape or moleskin tape or something on that part of my foot because I have a hard time getting a lockdown heel anyways. So it's just something that happens to me when I run, and that's okay. The big issue for me is this foam. It's very squishy, very soft, and because there's only 30 millimeters of it, when you step into the shoe, it feels like there's more than 30 millimeters. Like it feels bigger than that, and it looks bigger than that. But the inside of the shoe is actually quite dished, so it makes sense that there's only 30 millimeters in here. So when I run in this shoe, I find that the foam goes flat really quickly, within a kilometer or two of the start of a run. By the time I'm at about 3 kilometers, they get really slappy and not very responsive. The lightness of them and the breathable upper excuse that a little bit. Like today, I ran much farther in these than I normally would, almost 10K, and they did fine. But I have better options, and the shoe that comes to mind, which I think I've retired now, I had a pair of Asics Nova Blast 3s that when I bought them on sale. These got put on a shelf, and I ran 200 kilometers in those really quickly because they were everything I wanted in that shoe, with just a little more stack and a little more resilience in the foam. And it's not a PEBA foam in the Nova Blast. Did I say Super Blast or Nova Blast? It's not a PEBA foam in the Nova Blast, but yeah, it's if you're a bigger runner, I think the Rebel V4 is not a great fit just because of the softness of that foam and that lower stack height compared to kind of the way shoes are going these days. 35, 38, 40 mil stack heights are more normal. I think to read that as 30 mil seems low to me. It feels like more than that when you step in, but having run in it, I would say, yeah, 30 mil. If there's a little more foam there, what a great shoe that would be for a bigger runner. But if you're 200 pounds, 180 pounds and below, phenomenal shoe. This shoe is going to treat you so well. It looks good. I've actually started to wear it casually because, I don't know, I might as well get my money's worth out of it. I tend to buy shoes on sale. We have an outlet mall not far from us in Washington State. There's a New Balance, Adidas, Nike, and Puma outlet there. So I tend to do quite a bit of shoe shopping there, and I'll look for online sales. I just picked up these New Balance More version 4s on after Christmas sale here in Canada. They were 100 Canadian dollars, which, do the conversion into your own currency, is a pretty darn good deal. But I would much rather run in the More version 4 than I would in the Rebel for easy runs. If I want to pick up the pace and run short, or say I'm across the street at the track and I want to do, 2 or 3K or do some intervals or something, the Rebel would be fantastic. That's just not really the running I do. I'm training for a half marathon and then after that a marathon. So overall, other than the foam for me, the New Balance FuelCell Rebel version 4 is a good shoe that I'm not really suited for, and I'm not blaming the shoe. It is a Scott issue, not a shoe issue. I want to love them. I try to love them, but they just don't love me back, and that's okay. Sometimes that happens. So it's been an okay week training-wise. I've done 3 runs so far this week. I'm just under, I think, 30 kilometers for the week. I'll put my Strava down below if you guys want to follow along. Shout out to Aubrey Running. Aubrey, I'm sure many of you follow Aubrey on social media and YouTube. Fantastic content creator, and I love his positivity and the stuff that he talks about around being average and, not being the fastest person out there. Definitely hits close to home for me. Aubrey recently did a video talking about if you had a YouTube channel or an Instagram account to shoot him a message and he would follow you, and he's followed me on Instagram, and I think subscribed to this channel because I picked up a subscriber. So yeah, Aubrey, thanks for coming by, and maybe if I'm in London one day, we'll go out for a run. All right, you guys, I will see you next week. Training continues. Long run tomorrow, long run Sunday. I think it's 13.5 or 14 kilometers tomorrow. And then next weekend, the video is going to be about the Steveston Icebreaker 8K, which is my first race of the year, which is 2 weeks before my first half marathon of the year, which is also my first half marathon ever. So things are ramping up here quickly. I've signed up for a few more races in between now and Chicago in October. So thanks so much for following along. I'll drop all of my social media down below. If you want to like and subscribe, that would be fantastic. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Just want to stop and talk about the most dangerous situation in running. If you're running in this direction, traffic coming at you, and you've got a driveway here and you're on a busy road, anybody coming out of that driveway, they're looking that way. They're not looking at you. I've almost been hit twice today, and probably 2-3 times a week on average. So just be safe out there.